Thanks for watching. I'm Margot Kinberg, and this is In the Spotlight, a closer look at a crime novel. Psychological novels are extremely popular, of course, and they come in many different forms. Let's take a closer look at one today and turn the spotlight on Mark Billingham's Their Little Secret. The story begins as Detective Inspector Tom Thorne and his team investigate the suicide of Philippa Goodwin. It's supposed to be a straightforward case, but Thorne feels that something more is going on, and he starts to look at the case a little more deeply. That's when he discovers that the dead woman was the victim of a ruthless con man named Conrad Simpkin. Thorne and his assistant, Detective Sergeant Nicola Tanner, start the business of tracking Simpkins down, but he's used other names, and not all of his victims are comfortable with talking about how they've been used, so it's not going to be easy. Then there's another body, this time a murder. A young man named Kevin Dane is found bludgeoned and washed up on the beach at Margate. At first, there doesn't seem to be any connection between the murder and the suicide, but a DNA sample from the murder weapon turns out to match Patrick Jennings, one of the names Conrad Simpkins used with his victims. Now, Thorne and his team have a link between the two cases, and Thorne is hoping they'll be able to arrest Simpkins for murder as well as for his other crimes. In the meantime, we follow the story of a woman named Sarah, a single mother who's trying to fit in with a group of parents at her son Jamie's new school. She has her own secrets and issues and backstory, and we learn about them as the story goes on. As we follow her story, we see how it fits in with the two other investigations that Thorne and his team are working, and in the end, we find out the truth about these cases. So, what holds this novel together? What are some of the elements that we see in Their Little Secret? This is a police procedural. So we follow along as Thorne, Tanner, and their team interview people, gather evidence, and the like. There's solid teamwork, and there's a look at the way in which police work with forensic specialists and other professionals to do their jobs. We also learn a little bit about Thorne and Tanner's private lives, although that's not a major focus of the book. Still, there are little pieces in there. This is the 16th novel in the Tom Thorne series, so there are a few references to other stories and some past events in Thorne's and Tanner's lives, but this novel can be read as a standalone. It doesn't require having read the earlier novels. There's also, as I said, a strong element of the psychological novel in this story. There's an interesting exploration, for example, of how and why someone might fall in love with and become prey to a scammer, and what impact that might have on the victim later. Without giving away too much, there's also a look at how the past influences people and how far people might go to fulfill a wish. Like other Billingham novels, this one has some violence, although it's not gruesome or protracted. But it's a somewhat dark story. You couldn't really call it noir, though. It's the story of what happens when love becomes a tool and when people will do just about anything for love. This has been In the Spotlight. I'm Margot Kinberg. Thanks for watching.